Welcome to Beaded Doilies by Shell. In this video we are going to be working with my candy cane patterns. Here you can see several that I have created with seed beads. I mostly use my faceted beads when creating them, but I wanted to try them out with seed beads. These are 8/0 size seed beads. So as you can see, they will work very nicely with seed beads. Now, right now, I have a video up for the regular candy cane, which you can see has two stripes of equal width. What I'll be doing in this video is showing you this one, where one stripe is 2 beads, where the other is 1 bead. And I will also be doing a video where the wide stripe is 3 beads, and the other is 1 bead. Here is the information you'll need for this video. We're doing candy cane 2-1, which is 2 bead wide strip and 1 wide. This is the small version. I also have a large version. I will be using 5 feet of monofilament fishing line. I like to use the Stern High Impact, which is available at Walmart and Amazon. I'll also be using my 4mm plastic faceted beads. For the thin stripe, I will be using crystal. And for the wide stripe, I will be using the Christmas red. And here you can see you'll need 41 for the thin stripe and 71 for the wide stripe. For my other candy cane projects, please see my playlist, my 3D projects playlist. And here I have some images to help you as we go along. I always start my candy canes with a single bead, which I call the start bead, because I use the 2-needle right angle weave, which is called the cross weave. Now your start bead for this project you can put on either string, and you will want a thin stripe color, which I will be using crystal. And you let it drop down to the center, and that separates your strings into 2 separate strings. And then these are the 4 steps for the first half of the project. We will be adding a bead to each string, 1 to the left, 1 to the right. We'll let them drop down to the previous beads before it. Then we will cross a bead, and we'll bring it down to rest with the other beads. So for your first left and right bead, you want to add a crystal to the left and a red to the right. Let them drop down, and then we're going to cross a red color, which put it on one and then enter the other from the opposite direction, bring it down, and there you have on your first 4 beads. Then we'll repeat that. This time we need all red, so we'll put a red on the left, a red on the right, let them drop, and then we'll take another red and we will cross it, and we'll bring it down. Now we will add a red to the left and then a white to the right. Let them drop, and we're going to cross with a white, and we'll bring that down. Then we're going to add a white to the left and a red to the right. Let them drop, and then we're going to cross a red. Now every so often you want to check to make sure that you haven't gotten your strings mixed up, and how you can do that is the top of your stripe should be on the left side. So make sure that your piece is like this, and then bring your strings and bring it up, and then you know that you have the strings correct. And if you ever look at your piece and your stripes are not lining up like this, then you know that you may have gotten your strings backwards. Of course, once we get about halfway, then the pattern's going to change a little bit, but for the beginning part, all your stripes should be laying out this way. Now we need a red on the left. Oh, actually we need all red for this part, so we'll put a red on the right, let the two drop, and then we will cross with a red. Bring them down, and here we have a single white, two red, a single white, and a two red. Now we will add a red to the left, a white to the right, and we will cross with a white. Then we want a white on the left, a red on the right, and cross with a red. Now a red on the left, white on the right, and cross with a white. Oh, I am so sorry. Please take off the last 3 beads. Forgot to put on a set of all red. Put red on both strings, then we cross with the red. There we go, that's correct. Now we want to do the red on the left and the white on the right, and we cross with a white. Alright. There we have so far 3 double red stripes with whites in between. Now we're going to add a white to the left and a red to the right, and we're going to cross with a red. Now we're going to put on all red. And this time we're going to put on a second set of all red. This stripe will be 3 beads wide. It's one of the slight variations in the striping. As we're getting close to the center, so we have 3 of 2, and now we have a stripe of 3. So we'll put a red on the left, a white on the right, and we will cross with a white. Now we need a white on the left, a red on the right, and cross with a red. Now we need all red, We'll do a red on the left, a white on the right, and we will cross with a white. Now here we're going to start having changes in the pattern. So you have 1, 2, 3 double red stripes, then you throw in a 3 red stripe, and then you have another double red stripe, and then the pattern changes. So make sure your piece is laid out like this and you have your left and right in the correct hands. Now we're going to again add a red to the left one and a white to the right, and then we're going to cross with a white, and then we're going to add a white to the left and a red to the right, and we're going to cross with a red. Then we're going to add a red to both strings, and we're going to cross with a white. Here we have our pattern. There's the last 2 stripe, and then we have a red over here and slight variation in the pattern, so please be sure to check your work. Now we're going to add 2 whites, 1 to each string, and we're going to cross with a red. Then we're going to add a red to each string, and we're going to cross with a white. And as you can see at this point, we're doing little small V shapes. We'll add a white to each string and cross with a red. And now we're going to do all red. So add a red to each string and cross with a red. Then we'll add a red to each string, and we're going to cross with a white. Then we'll add a white to each string, and cross with a red. And we need all red. Now let's check our pattern. Here we changed up a little bit. We have, in essence, a 2-stripe white with a red in it. And we have a V with a little side slot here. Then we have a V of white, a V of red, V of white. And then we have a double V of red and a V of white. And then we're working on our next set of red. And we'll add red to each string. And we'll cross with the white. white to each string. And we'll cross with a red. And then we will add 3 reds. And cross. Alright, now we've actually finished this part of the piece. So what we want to do is to make sure we haven't missed anything is we'll count the center beads here, and there should be 30 total. So I do it double, so 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30. So the piece is the correct length. We haven't missed anything. For your checking, here is the piece. And now we're going to move this because we are done with this part of the project. We're going to bring this over. Now we want to make sure that we have the right when you're down here is the side that goes down on your stripe, the lower side of the stripe. So this is our right. And the right we're going to add a crystal to. And then we're going to lay out our piece. So we did it this way. I usually flip it over when I'm going to connect it, and then I take the other end and I enter the right string from the right side. And there's how your piece should look. And then we take both strings. Okay, there we added the bead. We went through the other end so that our bead is on the right side. And now we're going to add a red, and we're going to cross it with both strings. And here is how it should look connected. And here it is connected. And now the next step we're going to fold our piece so that we see that the beads down here, and there it is folded. Here's our string coming out on either side of the last bead we crossed. Now we're going to go through a bead on each side, so that's a bead on each side. So take the string on that side and go through the bead, just one bead. And then we're going to cross a bead, which we need a white for this part. Want to cross a white bead. And we bring it down, and as you can see, it makes a little set of beads on the side. And then we're going to continue that process. Our string is coming out of the bead that we crossed. We'll go through a bead on each side, then we'll cross another bead and bring it down. So let's start by going through one bead on each side. Bring our string together. This time we want to cross a red bead. Now we repeat, go through a bead on each side. Then we will cross another red bead. Go through a bead on each side. And now we're going to cross a white bead. Now we'll cross a red bead. Go through our beads. And we'll cross another red bead. We'll go through a bead on each side. And then we'll cross a white bead. And then after this next set, it's going to change up a little bit, so the last time we will go through one bead on each side, and we're going to cross a red bead this time. Alright, let's check our pattern. We have the end red bead, then we added a white, 2 reds, a white, 2 reds, a white, and then 1 red. Now we need to change it up a little bit. This time, here's our string coming out of our bead on either side. What we're going to do is we're going to go through 1 on the left and 2 on the right. So we want 1 on the left and then 2 on the right. And how you can be sure is see up here where we have that 3 stripe, the side with the 3 red beads on it, right next to the just up, and this side has 1. You want this side is the one you want to go through 2, and it should be your right side. So here we go. We will go through 2 on the right side and 1 on the left side. Oops. And then just like before, we will cross a bead and bring it down. So I'm going to leave this page up so you can see how to do that part. I don't have an image for once it's crossed, so I will show you. The first color we need is a white. I'm going to cross a white, and then when you bring it down, if I can get it to untwist, bring it down, you can see it begins to curve. So now we will go through 2 again on the right side, and then 1 on the left, And then this time we're going to cross a red. And bring it down. And there, we're continuing to curve. So we'll go through 2 again on the right side. And 1 on the left side. Bring our strings together and we will cross a white. And then we will go through 2 on the right side. And 1 on the left side. And now what we want to do is we want to cross the end bead, which is the bead right here. Our 2 strings are coming out on either side here. We want to cross this bead right here. So we'll enter the right string from the right side and the left string from the left side. And there. So when we started turning, we added a white and then a red and then a white. And there we have the curve for our candy cane. Right, that is the first side. Now we need to get to the second side. So to do so, we want to look at the very end of our pattern. Flip it. So here's your string coming out on either side of the end of your first side. And we're going to go through each bead on either side of it. We will enter each bead on either side of it. And then we will cross the bead on the other side. Not cooperating with me. Come on, go through. Ah, there we go. I think it got stuck on the other string. There we are. Now our string is coming out on the other side and we're ready to zip up the far side. And just like we just did, we're going to, on the right or now top of our candy cane, we're going to go through 2 beads. And then on the left or inside of our candy cane, we're going to go through 1 bead. And then we'll cross a bead, which we need a red. Then we will repeat that. We will go through 2 beads on the top of our candy cane. And 1 bead on the inside. And now we are going to cross a white. And again, 2 beads on the top. And 1 bead on the bottom or inside. And we will cross a red. Now we'll do that one more time. We'll go through 2 beads on the, well, now it's kind of the outside of our candy cane, and 1 bead on the inside of our candy cane. And we will cross with a white. And now we are back to going through. Our string is coming out on either side. We go through 1 on each side, cross, and this is how it will look when we have it added. So 1 bead on each side now. We will cross with a red. Before we add any more, I want to show you the turn. Here we came from the other side, we added a red, a white, a red, a white, and now we're adding a red, and we'll continue down, going through 1 bead on each side. We're going to add another red. And 1 bead on each side. And crossed a white. One on each side. And cross red. Now we add another red. Go through a bead on each side. Cross a white. And go through a bead on each side. Then cross a red. And we go through a bead on each side. And here we've come to the end again, but instead of just crossing our bead, we're going to put 1 string through it, and then we're going to tie our knot. I like to do a single knot with my monofilament line, and then a double overhand knot where you go over twice, bring it down but don't pull tight. Then you take your string and you go back in that end bead, and you pull your knot inside the bead, and now you pull tight, and there your knot is hidden. Now I don't clip off right here because that has it right next to the knot and could allow it to come undone, so I like to bead back at least 2 what I call center beads. So you do, gotta manipulate it to get it to let you do it, and then you cross, that's your center bead, so that's 1. and then you do it again. And you cross, and that's 2. And now we can clip off, and we have our candy cane. There you have your candy cane. Now with this particular candy cane, 3 sides look absolutely perfect, but the inside looks a little less like a candy cane, but that is required to get the sides to match up. So I enjoyed making this piece anyways. You can also, for a Christmas tree, you can just hang it. You don't need anything at all. It'll just hang right on there perfectly. Or if you would like to add like an accessory, what you can do is that very top center bead, just slip a string through it, and then what I do is I added 2 beads, 1 to each string, and then I crossed whatever my accessory was and tied my knot and then secured my string. So that is how you can add an accessory for hanging. You can make pendants like I have here with the bicone crystal beads, 4mm. You can also, if you use the small seed beads, make earrings out of it. So you have lots of options, and I hope that you enjoyed making your candy cane today.